Good morning, children. As in the previous class, we have studied about the conventional sources of energy. Today, we are going to discuss about the non-conventional sources of energy. What are the important non-conventional sources of energy? We know that the growing consumption of energy is we are utilizing maximum energy or overusing also, or sometimes exploiting also. So maximum use or the growing consumption of such energy has resulted in the country becoming increasingly dependent on fossil fuels such as coal, oil and gas, etc. We are using or depending more on the fossil fuels. Now rising prices of oil and gas and their potential shortage have raised uncertainties about the security of energy supply in future. We know that in future there will be these type of fossil fuels will get exhausted. Then what are the others sources of energy we can use? So we need to use some other alternative use of energy also. So increasing use of fossil fuels also causes serious environmental problems. These fossil fuels, when it is burnt also, we know that it is also causing pollution, environmental pollution. So there is a pressing need to use renewable energy sources. We have to use the renewable energy sources. While like fossil fuels get exhausted, we need to use another type of energy which can be replenished. So such kind of renewable energy sources are like solar energy, wind, tide energy, biomass energy. These all are also sometimes we can use the waste materials also. From waste materials also energy is generated. So these are all renewable or replenishable, and these are called non-conventional sources of energy, or this type of energy is obtained from the non-conventional sources of energy. So India is blessed with the abundance of sunlight. We know that our country is located in the tropical region. There is sufficient sunlight, water, wind and biomass also. So it was the largest programs for the development of these renewable energy resources. Because of this availability of these resources, we can create non-conventional sources of energy. For example, we can say some of the examples here. Nuclear or atomic energy, it is obtained by altering or the changing the structure of atoms, as we have studied in the science class about atomic energy. When such an alteration or change is made, much energy is released in the form of heat and thus is used to generate electric power. From the nuclear energy or atomic energy, we can when this alteration or change is done, lot of heat is produced. This heat can be used to generate electric power. Uranium and thorium, which are available in Jharkhand and the Aravalli ranges of Rajasthan, are used for generating atomic or nuclear power. These are generally used for producing nuclear power. Monazite sands of Kerala are also rich in thorium. So these are minerals are also used for producing electricity. Now coming to the solar energy, this is also one of the abundantly available energy in our country. India is a tropical country. It has enormous possibilities of tapping solar energy. Plenty of solar energy or sunlight is available in our country. So photovoltaic technology, this is the technology we are using. Photovoltaic technology converts the sunlight directly into electricity. Okay, without much we know that we are using the solar panels, so that they are converting the energy into electricity directly. So solar energy is fast becoming very popular in the rural and remote areas also. Some big solar plants, power plants are being established in different parts of India, which will minimize the dependence of rural households for firewood or cow dung cakes, etc. We know that these people in the rural area, people generally depend on mostly on the cow dung or the others, firewood, etc. Now in the rural areas also, people are nowadays using more the solar energy also. So solar, people are also using now solar energy in the rural areas. We know that when we are using the cow dung or firewood, this also causes emission of smoke into the atmosphere, which pollute the nature of pollute the atmosphere also. Moreover, we know cow dung is a natural manure which can be used in agriculture also instead of burning it. Now coming to the wind power, wind is also available in our country. India has a great potential for wind power. Largest wind farm cluster is located in Tamil Nadu, from Nagarkoil to Madurai. This region we can find the wind farms. Apart from this, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Kerala, Maharashtra and Lakshadweep also have important wind farms. These are the other states have wind farms. Nagarkoil and Jaisalmer are well known for effective use of wind energy in the country. So wind power also is used or utilized in the country, in our country, as non-conventional sources of energy. Now coming to the biomass. How biomass is used here? Shrubs, farm waste, animal and human waste are used to produce biogas for domestic consumption in rural areas. We can find that gobar gas which we are using in the rural areas. Decomposition of the organic matter yields gas which has lighter thermal efficiency in comparison to kerosene, dung cake and charcoal. We know that this gas is produced from the waste materials or shrubs or animal and human waste also. Now biogas plants are set up in the municipal, cooperative and individual levels also. Individual houses also we can find this kind of plants also, especially in the plants using cattle dung in the rural areas. Cattle dung, cows or buffaloes dung is used, which we often say gobar gas plants in the rural areas, in the villages and rural areas. Farmers, those who have the cattle, they generally use gobar gas. These provide twin benefits to the farmer in the form of energy and improved quality of manure also. So one purpose, they can use it as gas also, and its waste material is used as manure also. So that is the benefit of the farmers in the rural areas. Biogas by far are the most efficient use of cattle dung. It improves the quality of manure and also prevents the loss of trees and manure due to burning of fuel, wood and cow dung cakes also. Here we can use that when we are cutting the trees for the firewood purpose, it can be saved also. When we are using the biogas, we can save the trees also. So another purpose, another one is cow dung cakes we are burning, that also can be saved. So the waste obtained from this biogas plant we can use for as manure also. Now coming to the tidal energy, oceanic tides can be used to generate electricity. How the tides of the ocean is useful for producing energy? Floodgate dams are built across the inlets. Wherever the tides occur, those regions, floodgate dams are constructed. So during the high tide, water flows into the inlet. This into the dams, water will be entering and gets trapped there when the gate is closed. When water during the high tide, water enters inside the dams and the gate will be closed then. After that, water remained there in the floodgate, flows back to the sea when via a pipe that carries it through a power generating turbine. So afterwards, when the water is released into the sea and when the floodgate is opened, water forcefully comes out and it moves to the sea. So it is connected with through a pipeline only. This water is flowing back to the sea, and there also is connected a turbine, so that what turbine will be moving or rotating and power will be generated. So in India, the Gulf of Kambat, the Gulf of Kutch, these are the Gujarat region on the western coast, and also in the Gangetic delta regions of Ganga river, in Sundarban regions of West Bengal. So these regions provide such kind of tidal conditions for utilizing tidal energy. These regions are tidal energy is largely utilized in our country. And when we are talking about the geothermal energy, how geothermal energy is used for as a non-conventional sources of energy. Geothermal energy also refers to the heat and electricity produced by using the heat from the interior of the earth. We also studied earlier classes, inside the earth or the interior of the earth also heat is generated due to the molten magma also. So geothermal energy exists because the earth grows progressively hotter with increasing depth. When we are moving inside, when we are digging inside the earth or moving inside the earth, we know that it becomes hotter and hotter. So deeper when we are digging, we can find the earth becomes much hotter. Where the geothermal gradient is high temperature are found at shallow depths. Groundwater in such areas absorbs heat from the rocks and becomes hot. So in the inside the earth also, when these regions the groundwater is very hot also. It is so hot that when it rises to the earth's surface, it turns into steam. And when this hot water comes out of the earth's surface also, it becomes a steam also. So this steam is used to drive turbines and generate electricity. So hot springs are also found in many parts of our country. Such kind of hundreds of hot springs are available in our country. It can be used to generate electricity. Two experimental projects have been set up in India to harness geothermal energy. One is located in the Parvati Valley near Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh, and the other is located in the Biogas Valley in Ladakh. These are the two important geothermal energy power stations we have. Now, how should we or how can we conserve energy resources? As we know that many of the energy resources are also conventional and non-conventional energy resources are there, but some of them are exhausting or will get exhausted in future. So that we are also planning to develop some of the energy resources as replenishable or renewable energy resources. Energy is basic requirement for economic development. For all type of economic development, these sources of energy is very important. So every sector of the national economy, whether it is agriculture, industry, transport, commercial and domestic needs, all these purposes we need energy. So economic development plans implemented since independence necessarily required increasing amount of energy to remain operational. So from the independence onwards, now until now, we know that the government has planned in such a way that the energy needs are increasing. So we need to utilize the energy properly, or also we need to develop a better energy resources also. As a result, the consumption of energy in all forms has been steadily rising, increasing in the country. It is largely increasing the consumption of energy levels in our country. So in this background, there is an urgent need to develop a sustainable path of energy development, which means when we are using energy or utilizing energy resources, it should remain for the future generation also. When it is exhausted, the future generation will not survive. So that we need to use the energy resources in a sustainable manner. So promotion of energy conservation and increased use of renewable energy sources are the twin planks of sustainable energy. How we can utilize energy properly? One thing is we need renewable energy. We have to develop a renewable energy resources resources for the future also. As India, we know that it is one of the least energy efficient countries in the world. We have not much developed. There are many potential in our country, but we are not utilizing them properly. So we have to adopt such kind of cautious approach for the judicious use of our limited energy resources. We need to use them. Our limited energy resources should be utilized properly without wastage. So for example, as concerned citizens, we can do our bit. We are all Indian citizens also have to do our part, and using the public transport system, how can we save energy? That means use public transport system instead of individual vehicles, switch off the electricity when not in use, also using power saving devices and using non-conventional sources of energy. So these are the different methods we can use in order to conserve energy resources, otherwise in a sustainable manner, otherwise there will be shortage of energy in the future. After all, we can say that energy saved is energy produced also. This is a term often we hear, energy saved is energy produced also. So that's all for today about this lesson. Thank you.